Founded in 1920 and currently headquartered in Fuchu, Hiroshima, Japan, Mazda is a renowned Japanese multinational automaker. As of 2021, Mazda has earned the 22nd spot among the world's automotive manufacturers in terms of sales. This is the tale of Jujiro Matsuda, the man who laid the groundwork for what would become Mazda Motor Corporation. Even though he didn't have the best start in life, his early years were driven by his insatiable curiosity and interest in manufacturing. The year 1875 saw Jujiro Matsuda's birth in the village of Mokanada, Hiroshima, Japan. Jujiro Matsuda is the youngest of 12 children and the son of a fisherman. When he was only 3 years old, his father passed away. Coming from nothing, he dreamed big as an orphan. He could not continue his education, so at 13, he came to Osaka to live and work with a blacksmith. During his time there, he developed a passion for machines and decided to make a career. He wanted to acquire advanced technical techniques. Therefore, he started working at several enterprises, including shipyards and arsenals. During his breaks, he went to different factories to observe and learn about their technology and production processes. At 31, Jujiro rented a small cowshed, 33 square meters, in Osaka and opened Matsuda Seisakusho. The company did not go as anticipated, and Jujiro had difficulties after discovering that a product he had worked on for years was already available. Nonetheless, he persisted in his endeavors. He disassembled current devices for analysis, made some adjustments, and eventually released what he called the exclusive patented Matsuda pump. He believed using high-quality production equipment was crucial to creating goods satisfying customers. Therefore, he worked hard to import and promote the latest and greatest from abroad. The engineer's firm had helped him and his family to a comfortable level of wealth. During its height, the Matsuda Works enterprise was responsible for producing artillery fuses for the Russian Tsar, with a workforce of almost 4,000 workers. However, Jujiro Matsuda was forced out of his own business by the opposition of his co-owners when he attempted to expand manufacturing to his hometown of Mokanada. Matsuda, however, faced this challenge head-on, determined to start over and make his own way in the world. This was not a simple or cozy path. In retrospect, Jujiro Matsuda said, "I treaded nothing but thorny and rocky routes. Paths were fraught with peril and hardship. Without swerving, I continued on my way. I marched straight through the pain, the exhaustion, and the temporary blindness." What kept him going down this unfriendly road? Trust oneself and others, Matsuda advises. I owe everything I am to the trust one have been blessed with throughout my entire life. In the end, having faith in each other was worthwhile. When Jujiro sold one of his metalworking companies to the well-known Neon Steel Manufacturing Company, he became wealthy. Jujiro returned to Hiroshima in his 40s to start Hiroshima Matsuda Seisakusho in 1918. By this time, he was highly acknowledged as a successful businessman because of his successful business venture. In the subsequent 2 years, he was convinced to join the failing Toyo Kojo Company. Limited. Jujiro faced a fresh challenge even though it was not involved in its traditional field of business. He was so dedicated to reviving the company that he even came up with the notion of making compressed cork boards. He took over as president of Toyo Kojo after the previous president had to retire due to sickness. He labored to develop a new cork product that could be utilized as a thermal insulator and shock absorber. The company was able to recover thanks to the popularity of the new product. Despite its initial commercial success, Toyo Kojo eventually failed. The entire factory burned down in 1925. Jujiro was already reeling from the stress of paying off a mountain of debt when the fire destroyed his building and killed his employees. Jujiro Matsuda, after giving serious thought to the matter, made the decision to begin again. He abandoned the cork portion of the company's name. He refocused it on metalworking under the motto lifetime dedication to a single business. He was so committed that he changed the company's name to Toyo Kojo Company, Limited. The auto industry could not have picked a better time to flourish. After the devastating Kanto earthquake in 1923, cars suddenly became a popular mode of transportation. Jujiro saw a market for three-wheeled trucks and started a company to make them. In 1931, Jujiro focused on the three-wheeler because it was a more affordable alternative to the four-wheel autos he had been using to improve the quality of people's lives and the growth of my country. The three technical wheelers' advancements, like a four-stroke motor, were considered a luxury at the time. Still, they made it possible to transport larger quantities of products through the crowded streets of Japan's cities. Jujiro insisted on making as many components as possible in-house and invested heavily in R&D with engineers. In contrast, other domestic manufacturers relied on engines and other important parts made outside. His perseverance was rewarded when the first mass-produced three-wheeled trucks hit the streets. Taking inspiration from Jujiro's surname, the autorickshaw is known as the Matsuda Go, sometimes spelled Mazda Go. Around this period, people started calling their Mazdas Mazda. When Hiroshima was bombed on August 6, 1945, the Toyo Kojo headquarters took a significant amount of damage. It was 8:15 in the morning. Jujiro Matsuda made his way back to the office. The explosive threw Jujiro Matsuda's automobile off the road, but luckily both he and his driver were unharmed. The company's Mokanata headquarters may have been destroyed, but the production buildings suffered only minor damage. However, it took a tremendous toll emotionally. Thousands of Toyo Kojo workers were among the 80,000 persons killed in the disaster. Matsuda offered the Fuch City plant, which was located more than 5 kilometers from the epicenter of the nuclear explosion and was relatively undamaged, to serve as a hospital, city hall, a police station, a courthouse, a newspaper office, and employees there assisted citizens in finding and reuniting with their families. With statewide rebuilding operations in full swing, demand for freight vehicles was higher than ever, and the company was able to restart the manufacture of the three-wheelers 4 months after the disaster. Once again, business was thriving. But the aftermath of the Hiroshima bombing permanently altered the company. Together, the city and the business had witnessed that they could overcome adversity. The outcome was a never-say-die attitude that continues to define Mazda today. It was from the ruins of a city that the Mokanata spirit emerged. Matsuda was never charged with being a war conspirator, and a reinvigorated Toyo Kojo was a driving force in restoring Hiroshima's economy after the bombing. Small, four-wheeled trucks were first produced by Toyo Kojo in 1950. The same year, they also helped launch the Hiroshima Carp baseball team. The R360 Coupe was the first passenger vehicle produced by the company, and it was released in Japan in 1960. The first production car to include a rotary engine was Mazda's Cosmosport 110S, which didn't hit the market until 7 years later. In 1970, Mazda introduced the R100 Coupe, the first mass-produced rotary-powered car in the United States. Until the first oil shock of 1973, Mazda's rotary engine was a smashing success. The rather thirsty rotary-powered versions gradually fell out of favor as American consumers quickly shifted to automobiles with improved fuel efficiency. The company lost a lot of money in 1975 because it was the least productive Japanese automaker, had too much stock, and relied too heavily on the American market. Toyo Kojo was saved from going bankrupt thanks to the efforts of the Sumitomo Keiretsu Group, specifically Sumitomo Bank, and the company's distributors and subcontractors. The business had not given up on piston engines. Throughout the 1970s, it manufactured a number of different four-cylinder types. After 1973, Mazda's smaller Familia line and somewhat bigger Capella series became essential to the company's global sales. Mazda shifted its strategy and now offers the rotary engine option for performance-oriented drivers only. The Mazda RX-7 was introduced in 1978 as a low-cost, high-performance sports car. Tsuneji Matsuda, his adopted son-in-law, took over as president of Toyo Kojo when he passed away. Matsuda was responsible for expanding the company's vehicle segment until 1979, when Ford Motor Company acquired a 25% share in Toyo Kojo. In 1984, Toyo Kojo officially became Mazda Motor Corporation after the Matsuda family sold their shares in the company as part of a partnership with Ford. Hiroshima Toyo Carp is still mostly owned by the Matsuda family. Due to Mazda's continued financial struggles throughout the 1990s, Ford increased their stake to 33.4% in May 1996. Ford considered selling its 13.4% investment in Mazda amid the 2008 financial crisis, which would have resulted in Ford relinquishing its control of Mazda. Ford's ownership percentage dropped to 3% on November 18, 2010. However, Ford and Mazda remained key partners through various collaborative ventures and the sharing of technological knowledge. Ford divested its final stake in Mazda on September 30, 2015. On March 27, 1952, Matsuda passed away. In 1965, a bronze monument of Jujiro Matsuda was sculpted by Anamichi, Hiroshima, resident Katsuzo and Suba and installed in Hijiyama Park in Minami-ku, Hiroshima, in recognition of Matsuda's service to the prefecture. His ideals of utilizing one's technical skills for the greater good of society and of constantly striving for technological advancement continue at Mazda Motor Corporation. After being born into poverty, forced to find labor at an early age, and dealt a series of cruel blows by fate, Jujiro Matsuda said, "It was a word faith that kept me continuing at what I was most enthusiastic about." His belief in himself, other people, and God allowed him the courage to persevere through setbacks and share in the rewards of collective accomplishment. Mazda Motor Corporation is a car manufacturer that honors the pioneer's unyielding spirit, rejects conformity, and takes pride in challenging the status quo. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.